Cold metal pressed into my palm. Hotel keys. Not house keys. They were heavier than I expected. She didn't even look at me. My daughter stood there, arms crossed, eyes already drifting toward the hallway like the conversation was over before it began. Behind her, my husband leaned against the wall. A quiet smirk tugged at his lips. His eyes slid away, just long enough to remind me I was invisible. "You make everything awkward," he said. Soft, calm, sharper than any insult he'd ever thrown at me. I didn't answer. I looked past them. My suitcase was already by the door, zipped, standing upright, waiting. That's when something inside me froze. This wasn't an argument. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was removal. Each detail hit me slowly, like evidence I hadn't asked to see. Drawers already opened. Curtains shifted just enough to let in the gray Cleveland light. A photograph, one I had framed years ago, slightly moved, no longer centered. The room whispered what words hadn't yet said. She had planned this. I felt a shiver crawl up my spine. Not from cold. From realization. The faint smell of bleach mixed with carpet dust. Cleaned. Reset. Prepared. The bedspread scraped rough beneath my fingertips as I steadied myself. I pressed my hands together. I was still here. Still real. They could remove me from a room, but they could not remove me from myself. I turned without another word. Not shouting, not pleading. I lifted the suitcase handle and walked out. Behind me, the door closed. Not loudly, not dramatically, just firmly. And with it, something I had trusted my entire life finally shut.
The car was colder than I expected. Leather stiff beneath my palms. The engine hummed, low and indifferent. I didn't cry. I stared straight ahead as the streets of Cleveland stretched out, gray, quiet, unconcerned. Traffic lights changed without urgency. Life moved on. I was the only thing that had been paused. At a red light, my phone vibrated. A message from my daughter. "It's just for a few days. Don't make this bigger than it is." A few days. As if dignity had an expiration date. I didn't respond. I kept driving. The hotel rose ahead of me, tall, clean, anonymous. Glass doors. Neutral colors. No history. I dragged my suitcase inside, every step deliberate. Not rushed. Not dramatic. Just heavy. The lobby smelled like lemon cleaner and coffee that had been sitting too long. No one looked at me. And for the first time that day, I was grateful. The room was small. Tidy. Temporary. I set the suitcase down slowly. Sat on the edge of the stiff bed. The air smelled sharp with antiseptic. This wasn't refuge. It was storage. I stared at the wall. Years of bending replayed quietly in my chest. Lowering my voice. Softening my needs. Shrinking myself so others could feel comfortable. I had mistaken endurance for love. I pressed my palms together. I was still here. Still real. But something else had joined that truth. A question. If they could erase me this easily, what else were they already taking? That night, I ordered soup. The card declined. I stared at the screen. Tried again. Declined. A third time. Same result. I called the bank. The woman on the line sounded apologetic. "There's been a temporary restriction placed on the account." Temporary. Restriction. Placed. By whom? I asked. She paused. "Your husband is the primary holder." My chest tightened. Decades of shared life. Shared money. Shared trust. Reduced to a single switch I couldn't reach. I thanked her. Hung up. Sat there in silence. That's when fear arrived. Not loud. Not panicked. Quiet and methodical. This wasn't just about space. It was about control. The next morning, my phone rang. My husband. "I don't want this to turn into something unnecessary," he said. Unnecessary. "I just need time," I replied. Silence. Then colder. "Well, don't do anything impulsive." Impulsive. As if leaving me stranded wasn't. I hung up. My hands shook, not from weakness. From clarity. I wasn't being punished. I was being managed. By the third day, sleep stopped coming easily. The room felt smaller at night. The walls too close. I almost went back. Almost apologized. Almost asked what I could fix. And that terrified me more than the hotel ever could. Because disappearing had become instinct. That morning, I sat by the window and watched Cleveland wake up. People going to work. Laughing. Living. Unaware that someone nearby was quietly deciding whether she still existed. A message appeared. From my daughter. Mom. I didn't understand. I thought this would be easier. Easier. For whom? I didn't reply. Not yet. Silence, I was learning, carried weight. I packed a small bag. Not to run. To choose. Each item I placed inside reminded me of something forgotten. Capability. Stability. Self-respect. My hands had raised a family. Built a life. Endured more than anyone remembered. They were still mine. Outside, the air was crisp. Sunlight brushed the buildings with soft gold. Cleveland didn't feel indifferent anymore. It felt open. I walked. Not fast. Not afraid. Steady. Unhurried. I made one call. Not to plead. To set terms. I won't be returning under those conditions, I said. Silence on the other end. Then tension. Then uncertainty. For the first time, it wasn't mine. They thought removing me would make things easier. They were right. Just not for them. Because I didn't disappear. I decided. Reclaiming yourself isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's deliberate. It's irreversible. And that is how I won. Not by proving them wrong. But by proving, to myself, that I mattered.